VLOOKUP is one of the most useful Excel functions when navigating a large set of data. The VLOOKUP function in Excel is designed to vertically search for a specific value and retrieve a corresponding match based on a unique identifier. This unique identifier serves as an exclusive link across all records in the database, such as an employee ID, customer ID, or contact number. Essentially, it enables precise data retrieval by establishing a distinctive connection between the search criteria and the desired information. In this video, I will provide formula examples that cover the most typical usage of VLOOKUP in Excel. VLOOKUP function has 4 arguments. The first 3 arguments are required. The first argument is the lookup value. Is the value to search for. This can be a number, date, or text, or cell reference to a cell containing a lookup value. Unlike numbers and cell references, text values should always be enclosed in double quotes. The second argument is table array, is the data array that is to be searched. The VLOOKUP function searches for the lookup value in the leftmost column of this array. You can also use a named range or a table. The third argument is column index number, is the number of the column from which to return a value. The counting starts from the leftmost column in the table array, which is 1. The last argument is range lookup, which determines whether to search for an approximate or exact match. True means approximate match. It is the default value. If an exact match is not found, use the closest match to the lookup value. By selecting true, VLOOKUP assumes the first column in the table is sorted either numerically or alphabetically, and will then search for the closest value. False means exact match. The formula searches for a value exactly equal to the lookup value. If an exact match is not found, then it will return an error. Let's have an example of the Excel VLOOKUP formula in its simplest form. We have employee sample data. I want to find the full name, based on the employee ID. The first argument is lookup value. It is employee ID. The second argument is table array. For this I will highlight employee ID and full name columns. It is a good practice to lock the table array with absolute cell references to prevent it from changing when copying a formula to other cells. For this, press F4. The third argument is column index number. It is 2. Meaning, we want to return a matching value from full name column, which is second in the table array. The fourth argument range lookup is false, which indicates that we are looking for exact match, and we get the full name as output. Let's have another similar example. I want to find the annual salary based on the employee's full name. The lookup value is full name. For the table array argument, I will select full name and annual salary columns. The column index number argument is 2. As we want to return the second column in the table array. The fourth argument range lookup is false, which indicates that we are looking for exact match, and we get the result. It is important to remember that the VLOOKUP function cannot look at its left. It always searches in the leftmost column of the table array and returns a value from a column to the right. If you need to pull values from left, use the index match combination that does not care about the positioning of the lookup and return columns. If the lookup column contains duplicate values, VLOOKUP will match the first value only. The function is not case sensitive. How to VLOOKUP from another sheet in Excel. In practice, the Excel VLOOKUP function is rarely used with data in the same worksheet. Most often you will have to pull matching data from a different worksheet. Using VLOOKUP from another sheet is very similar to using VLOOKUP on the same sheet. In the second sheet, we have a table of employee data like this on the first sheet. I want to add the department column to the first sheet, and I want to pull this data from the second sheet. The lookup value argument is employee ID from the first table. The table array argument is the range from the second table. For this, I will select the first 3 columns. As I want to drag this formula for all cells, we need to lock the table array. For this, press F4. The third argument is the column index number. It is 3. Meaning, we want to return a matching value from the department column, which is third in the table array. The fourth argument, range lookup, is false, which indicates that we are looking for an exact match. Lookup retrieves the correct department names for each employee from sheet 2 into the table on sheet 1. How to VLOOKUP from another workbook in Excel. To look up and retrieve information stored in a separate workbook, you can also use the VLOOKUP function with a full reference to the other workbook. I want to find and retrieve job title information for every employee in an external Excel workbook. The workbook exists in the same directory. 2 workbooks must be opened. The lookup value is the employee ID from the first workbook. The table array argument is a reference to a range in an external workbook. For this, switch to the other workbook and select the table array. The column index number argument is 3. Meaning, we want to return a matching value from the job title column, which is third in the table array. The fourth argument, range lookup, is false, which indicates that we are looking for an exact match. The only difference to the previous example is the special syntax used for external references in the table array argument. How to use wildcards with VLOOKUP in Excel. The VLOOKUP function in Excel retrieves data only when the lookup value precisely matches value in the table array. Any deviation from this exact match results in an NA error. Wildcard characters are used to do partial matches. The VLOOKUP function accepts the following wildcard characters: question mark to match any single character, asterisk to match any sequence of characters. We have a list of names, first and last names, and we have to look up the salary just using the first name. We have to use an asterisk after the first name, which helps VLOOKUP to look up a value that starts with the first name, and the rest of the value can be anything. We have the name in the G2 cell and combine the wildcard character with the cell reference using an ampersand sign. The table array argument is a range of full name and annual salary columns. The column index number argument is 2. For a wildcard VLOOKUP formula to work correctly, use an exact match. We get the right result. Let's have an example of using question mark characters. The question mark will match only one character. In cell G8, the employee ID is represented as a numerical value. However, in the main table, the employee ID column follows a format where the first 2 characters are alphabets, followed by numerical values. The VLOOKUP cannot look up the data because it does not find the exact match. To address this issue, you can use 2 question marks in the VLOOKUP formula to account for the alphabetic characters at the beginning of the employee ID. This wildcard approach allows VLOOKUP to match the numerical portion of the employee ID correctly. Common Excel VLOOKUP errors. If you're encountering errors with the VLOOKUP function, it could be due to various reasons. Common issues include: NA error occurs if the VLOOKUP function fails to find a match to the supplied lookup value. Ref error occurs if either the column index number argument is greater than the number of columns in the supplied table array, or the formula attempted to reference cells that do not exist. Value error occurs if either the column index number argument is less than 1 or is not recognized as a numeric value, or the range lookup argument is not recognized as one of the logical values, true or false. Name error occurs if there is text used as the lookup value and the text is not in quotes. As you can see, the VLOOKUP function in Excel is a great tool to save you time and reduce manual effort when dealing with big amounts of data. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.